Jay Ramey in the house from The Rock. And Jay from GreensboroSports.com. The loss by Reedsville to Eastern Alamance, 19-14 ball game. Talk about that game from what you kept up with and knew about that game. And how did the Rams lose that game?
Well, it was a lot of missed opportunities. That was the main storyline of the game. Reedsville, they had a lot of opportunities to get the win, and they just couldn't pull it off. A lot of injuries, though.
You mentioned some big injuries, too, from some big people for this team right now for Reedsville. They're missing a couple of key guys right now.
Their two main sophomores who have been the stars of the team, Kendra Harrison and Deontay Neal, they're both out with injuries. Kendra was recently injured. I heard it was part of his bone on his knee came off or something of that nature.
Like the bone chip?
Yeah, it chipped his knee or something like that. Weird injury, but that happens in football. And he's sidelined.
So he'll be out for a while there as far as that goes. Now, you think about this week for Reedsville. It's a quick turnaround, I guess, this week. What's their game this week? Who do they have this week coming up?
I've got it written down here. I think they're playing North Forsyth.
Yes, 2-2 North Forsyth versus 3-1 Reedsville. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That will be tomorrow, and then I believe they've got a bye week before playing McMichael. That will be a big county rivalry game that I'll be attending.
Talk about the big one. You've got a county rival game tomorrow night, although one team's at one end of the spectrum, the other team's at the other end right now. But still, you only got, 4 teams in Rockingham County, right?
Yes,
you
sir.
get any of those 4 together, big-time game.
Oh, yeah. They're really big games because Rockingham County is so interconnected, and there's only 4 high schools, so naturally when they get together to face, it's going to be a big rivalry match. It's McMichael versus Moorhead. Moorhead's 0-4, still searching for their first win, and McMichael, they've been doing well. They're 2-0 at home and 0-2 away, which is good news for Moorhead. They had their first 4 games as non-conference, but now they've got to step it up because the rest of the way out, these are conference games, and they all matter. They're 2-2, right on the brink, and they're trying to improve from last year, which was really good. They went 7-4, I think, and you're always looking to improve off the last year. Their main guys, Cody Peters, Jace Dunn, Jaden Moore, they're all seniors. So next year is going to be very challenging. This is the year that you want to go out on top.
What about McMichael? Who did they play last week? Do you have that down?
McMichael played...
Was it Providence Grove, or who was it last week?
Southwestern Randolph.
Yeah, I knew it was one of the teams in Randolph County. The Southwestern Randolph improved team, and I think your team, McMichael, gave them a good game last week and lost by just maybe a touchdown or less.
They lost by 13 to the Southwestern Randolph. It was a close game. It was kind of neck and neck throughout, and then at the end it just kind of fell off.
What about, again, Reedsville, North Forsyth? Do you think Reedsville, without Harrison, without, say, Deontay Neal, are they still the team? I know they're not the same team they would be with those guys, but are they still competitive enough to keep on winning with their 2 top players on the shelf right now?
They were last week. They were competitive last week.
What stage of the game did Harrison go down last week?
I'm not even sure, honestly. I'm not sure if it was a practice injury. I'm not sure if it was a game injury. I have no idea.
Still up in the air as far as that goes.
Up in the air.
But you feel good about Reedsville's chances, even without those 2 players.
They're still a power because of how deep their roster is. It's surprising how many players that they can have go down and just how strong their backups are. And, they've battled with injuries all season. Even Paul Weiderman, he's one of the top guys also, who's just a little bit older than them. He went down to, some people are saying it might be the turf. We're not sure exactly what it is, but they've just caught the injury bug this season, and they've caught it bad.
Reedsville Rams tomorrow night will be at North Forsyth to face the Vikings there, and you mentioned your other Rockingham County teams. You've got the big one between, I guess, McMichael and Moorhead, and Rockingham's playing Southern Guilford tomorrow night. Rockingham's got a good chance to win that game at Southern Guilford. Rockingham's 2-1. Southern Guilford has not won a game yet this year.
I think Rockingham's going to take that. I've been very impressed by the Cougars this season. Very impressed. They went through the entire county, the gauntlet of the county, and they went 2-1. They beat McMichael. They beat Moorhead. They fell to Reedsville 19-28, but some people around the field were saying that it was a sort of moral victory, with a little side chuckle, because in the past Reedsville's won by like 70 against Rockingham, but this year they won 28-19, which was a single-digit game. It was pretty close, and Reedsville's known as the power in the Rockingham County, and they're known throughout the state for how good they are. Rockingham's very happy with that, and they've massively improved.
So you'll be covering the game tomorrow night, Moorhead at McMichael. Talk about the setup again for that game and how you think that game may go.
I think McMichael's going to win it. I'm not sure if Moorhead's going to put up a fight. I haven't been to a Moorhead game this season.
You said you had trouble finding out information about Moorhead so far.
I've had some trouble finding out some information about Moorhead. I was supposed to go to a Moorhead game earlier this season, but Reedsville is playing Page, and you've got to get to that game.
You got to go to that game for sure, especially if it's in Reedsville. If you got to go to Greensboro, if it's in Reedsville in your home territory on that new turf, you got to get in there and check that game out.
McMichael, they've got some impressive players. Cody Peters at middle linebacker. He had 2 interceptions against South Stokes. That was the game I went to, and he did in the first quarter. And the offense for South Stokes just wasn't able to recover from that.
I've never been to a game, though, and I like that McMichael setting when you're driving up the highway there. I guess it's 220 north headed toward Ridgeway, Virginia, Martinsville. You see it on the left-hand side. Just off the highway, you can see the field. It's a beautiful setting for that football field.
It's a beautiful scene from up in the press box, too.
Yeah, and good competition tomorrow night with Moorhead and McMichael. Rockingham County will be at Southern Guilford at CK Siler Stadium. Reeves will be at North Forsyth against the Vikings. And then as far as you rank them right now, because you ranked them before, do you still rank them the same way, the 4 Rockingham County teams? Rank them the same way now you did before?
I rank them the same way. I've got Reedsville, Rockingham, McMichael, Moorhead, but I've got less of a gap between Reedsville and Rockingham because of how much Reedsville has had to deal with injuries and by how much Rockingham has improved. Like, they put up a fight against Reedsville, and all of Reedsville's players are going down. Rockingham should be very pleased with how they've performed this year. They're 2-1, and looking at their schedule, they could easily be 5-1.
I'm thinking they may be a playoff team if they're keep working, because they're in that same conference with Smith, Eastern Guilford, Northeast Guilford, and Adkins, and then you got the Dudley Panthers, who will not be able to beat those guys, but that's still a chance outside shot for a playoff for Rockingham County.
I think they can make it to the playoffs, and they're in 3A, so it's a little bit more difficult for them.
Thinking about these ball games this week, and we were talking about Rockingham County. I've been to their school, too, one time to see a game, and it was a nice setting there also, but a little bit different. I went there for, like, the jamboree. Remember the days in the past, you used to the big jamboree on a Friday or Saturday and bring all those teams in. They'd have, like, the police escorts and everything. It was a big event, and went there to check that out one time. But, again, Rockingham County, like I say, that's kind of the up-and-coming team right now in the county. And in the past, Rockingham County has actually lost a few players. I think the Reedsville guys who've gone there, instead of going Rockingham County was supposed to go.
Every team in Rockingham has kind of dealt with that. But Rockingham this year, they're also young. That's one of the things, especially their defense. You've got Eli Ward and Luke Stripmatter. Luke Stripmatter, he leads the team in sacks with 2 of them, and it's kind of ironic because he also plays backup quarterback. He got a couple of...
So he's a tough defensive player. Now he has to settle down and play quarterback sometimes, too, then.
And he also had an interception, and Eli Ward, he's got 2 interceptions this season. He's got
who's the coach of Rockingham County? Who's the coach there?
I'm not sure.
I got to get a guy's name sometime because it's always good to identify the coach. Eric Teague at Reedsville. McMichael is, we know him? Do we know?
I'm not sure.
I think Moorhead, the guy who left Guilford County, I can't think, but we do know Eric Teague is in charge of Reedsville.
We do.
Our assignment for our next meeting, we'll get all those coaches' names so we can give those coaches some credit too. But tomorrow night you will be Moorhead and McMichael. Do they have a stadium name there? Is it named after anyone you know?
I'm not sure. I haven't been to a Moorhead game yet. This is going to be my first game attended at Moorhead. I've attended every other school's.
Is this game at Moorhead or McMichael?
This game's at Moorhead.
At Moorhead.
Yeah, so. I've been to McMichael. I've been to Rockingham. I've been to Reedsville. Those are all really nice fields, but I haven't been to Moorhead.
I think Moorhead may have that traditionally old field there, maybe from the past, unless they've renovated or fixed it up from years ago. Some other things for you tonight. Let's get on some other football, too. Here's outside the box football for you. Colorado at Colorado. Let's see, you got Colorado State at Colorado this week. What do you think about the game with Deion's team going against Colorado State? That's the battle for the state of Colorado. And the Colorado coach, Deion, the Colorado State coach, has got his team fired up for this game. He took his cap off, took his sunglasses off during the press conference. You've got to be polite during those. He tried to take a dig at Deion for his cap and sunglasses. But as far as that goes, overall, you drop all those little crazy things. Do the Buffaloes win again?
I want to be a troll and say Colorado State. Just because I'm not the biggest fan of what Colorado's done. They bring in Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders clears out, tells all those kids that they're off the team, and then they act a little bit too cocky for me, and I know he's probably going to be going back up to the NFL soon, but I'm going to pick Colorado State.
Now, here's your ACC bunch this week. How do you rank the top 4 Big 4 teams in the ACC? You got Duke, Carolina, Wake, and State. How do you rank those guys right now?
Well, Carolina's coming off that big win up against App State.
With Drake May at quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks in the country.
Oh, yeah, and Luke May was his brother.
Yeah, played basketball.
Yeah, I got to meet him one time.
Mark May was the father who was a quarterback at Carolina, so there's a lot of
It's
sports blood in that
Carolina
family.
royalty.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I would rank them, to be honest. It's so early in the season, you can't pick it out yet, especially in college football. It's harder to rank them so early in the season because, in the NFL, all the players are coming back from the last year, but especially with the transfer portal now, you have no idea what's going to happen.
What about the Jets with Aaron Rodgers? What would their record have been if Aaron Rodgers would have played this year? What do you think the Jets would have done over the 17-game season?
I was more pessimistic about it, to be honest, so I didn't even have them making the playoffs before this. I think, I feel bad for everybody because a lot of the players wouldn't be there if it wasn't for Aaron Rodgers. Like, they were talking about some of the players were underqualified to be signed, but they were Aaron Rodgers' friends, and now the Jets have to take that massive salary cap hit. But, with Aaron Rodgers, I'd say 10-7, but that's not going to get you into the playoffs all the time, especially with how good the AFC is and their division.
What about without Rodgers? What would they have been, you think?
What are they going to be? I'd say 6-11.
6-11, that's a possibility on our sheet here. Crazy game this week. Got NC Central UCLA on Saturday, and what will the final score be of that game? NC Central goes UCLA. That's a very. I saw that on the list of ESPN games. On what in the world is this? Man, that's crazy. It's all about a money game. Maybe $100,000, maybe $250,000 to get big money to go there and play it. But what about what do you think the final score might be in?
The way these conferences are going, it's all over the place, and they're all changing. And then you got people playing on other sides of the world. It feels like it's crazy.
What would you say the final score might be?
28-19, UCLA.
Going to keep it that close. Going to go with the same score, Reidsville and.
You got to be optimistic for Carolina.
Reidsville and Rockingham County. That was their score, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, everybody thought Reidsville was going to blow them out too.
Right. This should be interesting. I got to check that out Saturday. That's one game I think I'll keep an eye on just out of curiosity how that game goes.
28-19.
Okay.
I went to the Reidsville game and my dad went, "Oh, what's going to happen? It's going to be 70-0," and I went, "No. No way."
You had it close already.
I had it close.
So this week, your winners in Rockingham County will be Reidsville, Rockingham County, and McMichael. Those winners this week.
Yes.
Jay Ramey, you'll be writing for us again this week?
Yes, sir.
See you later on
Hopefully
Friday night,
every week
Saturday
for the
morning.
rest of the year. I'm not sure if there's any more weeks where they're not playing in the county, but last week was a weird one.
Yeah. Well, listen, good job as always. Good to have you in.
Thank you.
Jay Ramey with us from GreensboroSports.com. Good to have him on board as always, and we'll see him again soon.